of the action
That's
will
where
happen
everyone
here.
goes, yeah.
Pretty much. CLG starting things off on the CT side. We've got Hazed with the kit, Fugly, JDM, Cutler, and Tarek all with Kevlar. Vexed on the T side of things, Oscarish, Furlan with utility, Groovy, Rowlin with utility, and Repo. And what do you know, Long B. Fugly playing off a rectangle, setting up an angle to try to get a first quick kill and set him up opportunity to fall back further into the site. And actually, we'll just fall back first. Fugly starts it off. Still alive in the back there in KFC. That's going to be JDM, smoked off and flashed. They're trying to isolate him. Cutler's going to fall as he approaches up from the rock. JDM just hiding out in the smoke still. Hazed at the connector doors.
Ooh, Tarek on the flank here. Actually gets caught up by Rowland, and now it's a 2v3, different round all of a sudden. And it looks like they're going to counter boost drop. I'm sure Hazed will be able to hear this, at least some of it, and might have the sneaking suspicion that it could be a rotate back to A. And this is a way to influence rotations, even if it is the case that they decide to go back to B.
Yeah, and you can see CLG kind of just trying to hedge their bets here with one man on B and the other. That's going to be Hayes just in the connector, very, very close to either site. It'll be they can maybe stop it if it comes back to B, but it's going to be a full-on retake for the A setup. Hazed was looking through that door for some information into A, and actually Groovy, this kill here, if he finds it, that should seal up the round, the kill onto JDM. Now it's Hazed left in a 1 versus 3. And the bomb is actually coming all the way back.
Surprisingly enough, I think they assumed Hazed is committed to the other site, where in reality he's actually just been sitting in a rotator spot the entire time, and now has the opportunity to get a couple frags here, has a flash in his hand, is getting pushed though from the side, and Furlan with superior timing finds a headshot onto Hazed, who, wow, almost was handed around there as they came back to him. But Groovy was in a great spot because when they counter boosted the bomb, they had 2 going back. They had Groovy in a situation where all he had to do was make noise. He didn't even have to get a kill, and that would allow them to make sure that CLG would assume it was going to be B for sure, and then get a free bomb plant, perfect after plant spots, and have A site as their playground.
All right, on to another round. 5-7 playing close here at the broken wall, but very, very blind. It's Oscarish with the P90 that's able to bring him down. It's up to JDM. And I believe that is, oh, that was Cutler next to him, but Groovy and Furlan taking him down. So now it really is just up to JDM. He's going to fall, and this pistol armor buy up here for CLG. The force blind at the second round not working out. They've gotten a few kills, but Vex, the bomb down, and another round secured for them.
Investing heavily there, buying armor and P250, a couple of more expensive luxury pistols, but Vex come out ahead, and it looked like that round could have got a little bit gone a little bit differently if Fugly got that opening frag. Excuse me, but he didn't, and that is the way she goes sometimes.
All right, so taking a look at Cobble for both of these teams, neither one with really like that strong of opponents that they've faced on a Cobble, so the stats actually might match up pretty nicely. CLG just winning most of their matches against the NA teams. Well, they did have to play Dignitas earlier on at the game show. They did lose, and of course they got wrecked there by Envious on this map, but overall it's still an okay map for CLG. They seem to be actually a pretty good CT side for CLG. About 60% of the rounds come from the CT side.
Well, obviously, a lot of that will have to do with winning the pistol, which they haven't. So if they are able to get that many rounds, I think it'll say quite a bit about them moving into the second half. And it seems like Vex want to continue the pressure, going fast into B altogether.
Oh, Repo with that MAC-10, reaping the rewards. 1,200 bucks for him on those 2 kills. Cutler at the rock is able to find 1 as they're crossing. Probably to be the only frag unless Repo runs out for some more. Hazed with the USP, not going to be able to do much. Would love to get his hands on an AK, but that seems impossible.
No, and what does this do psychologically for CLG, who have just seen Vex use their pistol, their eco, their third round going into, or the anti-eco, or the 2 anti-ecos, excuse me, going into B just quickly. What does that mean for CLG moving into the 4th? Do they play 4 towards B? I've heard Fallen talk about playing, I actually was on a Counterpoints episode with Thorin. Good YouTube channel, you should check it out. But he mentioned...
Did he give you Skrilla to say that?
Yeah, that, I can't even, I'm not even plug it, but he mentioned thinking about playing retake like entirely on an entire site. So because Cobble is so B-centric, and you know, playing A from like door isn't uncommon, so a really good rotator spot that also serves B. He thought maybe it would be a good idea to try and play one on the door, maybe 3 on the site, and one watching drop, or 2 watching drop, 2 back site, and just play really dedicated towards B, playing retake on A, especially if you think that the team that you're going to play is going to go B, and it looks like continuing the aggression, bomb going right out to B, but this time it's going to slow down, I'm sure.
Well, Furlan's going to do that dance here on the B platform. That smoke goes down, lets him get out to the wood box.
No, all he's in danger of is just taking a little bit of nade damage here. It's very common, like, we see Olaf make this play quite often, where he just lurks around the box and tries to get a kill. It can be really hard to deal with the appropriate smokes. But as we say that, he is about to have contact, and there it is. Fugly goes down with the headshot.
Yeah, his teammate throws a flash for him so that he can move out, try to take a new position and regain control of the platform, but it falls short. Fugly goes down pretty much for free. Now Furlan, he's since taken some damage. I think he might have got legged. JDM, oh no, Cutler dinked him, and then JDM finishes him off with the op. 4-on-4 now.
I wonder what their plan was past that 1 kill, because they left him there, and it kind of becomes easier to get that frag once you know that there's still a player sitting behind the double stack. Not exactly the most versatile sight box on the map.
Oh man, Tarek losing that battle, that hurts, because Hayes was in a perfect position, and you saw the way Vexed Gaming were looking at the window of drop. They were thinking about exiting there, and Hayes was at a good spot to cause a lot of damage, but then Tarek goes down at the mid room, and Vex is like, wait, maybe we'll just go over to A. But no, okay, jumping out the window, trying to continue that split into the A site, but the bomb's gone down in a difficult position. Oscarish with the fadeaway AK headshot onto Cutler, but the bomb is picked up, scooped, and into the A site.
And JDM assuming that they were going to chase him because the bomb was left out in the open, but wow, just enough time to get that plant. Just 1 extra second, JDM hoping and praying that he wouldn't have to go for this 1v2, and in this situation actually isn't going to, surprisingly enough. Did quite a bit of damage, but can't be sure about where they're playing A site from, and also has an op and no kit. And Vex coming with that round. I wonder if one thing they could have done, considering the patterns that me personally have seen from Vexed in over the course of the few maps that we've seen at this tournament, if Tarek goes down at A like that and there's no one else to support him, would it have made sense for Hayes, who was the rotator, to try to make it seem like they were over-rotating to the other site? Because I think as Tarek saw, there was only one person at A, and they were running their default, and he got their frag. And yeah, they could have ran A off that kill, but they don't know the rest of the site is open. So if they're going to slow down, then maybe if Hayes fakes to rotate back to A, then they can trick Vex and come back to B, like we've seen them do like we saw them do on the pistol, for example. They rocket back quite often, and their drop was the point of contention.
All right, so JDM goes up into the tower. He's able to save that op into this round, so he can maybe still be armed and dangerous. And a lot of times it'll bait a CT team into forcing up with armor and pistols behind it. But it doesn't happen here. CLG not spending any money, just a couple upgraded pistols and a few nades. So they're good to go. Let's see if JDM can cause any damage, but do expect Vex to get that 5-0. And their money's really starting to build up. They've certainly they've earned themselves another rifle if they take a round loss. If they win this one cleanly, that's going to get them 2 rifles off a round loss.
Interesting to see that Vex, after pushing up to Wong, don't want to clear it out anymore. I think have a sneaking suspicion that it might be better to go back to A. They hear the pot shots being taken by JDM at the door and feel a need to avoid them. I think justified concern. Cutler under the broken wall is a great position for a CZ. Also a great position to throw nades at, though. And might have a few enemies to deal with. As the over-rotate comes, it's going to be 5v5 at the B site. Almost certainly. Oh no. Actually going... What are they doing here? Focusing their attention on drop now.
Tarek with the deagle, close range, still able to get a headshot onto Furlan. Now once again, Vexed kind of liking the idea of jumping out of that window and splitting onto the A site. You'll see a lot on pistol rounds. It can kind of fall off as that strategy as the rifles progress. Hayes will get 1 more. The bomb was able to make it safely in, and 3-on-3. Actually an AK for Hayes and Cutler, although without armor and one of them quite low. Groovy just holding out here And we'll drop off the balcony.
Yep, and that is a very successful eco, having saved those guns, being able to recycle this op. And there's no point going for this #1 without armor, #2 without a kit. But yeah, interesting rotations from Vexed there. It seemed like they were going to go long B. And why it seems like they're just going to dedicate to it and that they are making snap decisions to go back is because they aren't really leaving an anchor at the part of the map that they want to go back to. And that might be a flaw in their game. If we have some CLG timing a good push to catch a rotator, they might have they might get way too much information. It seems like Vexed leave themselves open to getting shot in the back quite often, and make a lot of snap decisions in terms of which site they want to go to. And like, for example, going to and almost clearing out long and then deciding to go back to B all of a sudden means that there's a lot of territory there that they could face an opponent, especially in a situation where the other team is on a low buy or is saving.
Well, here we go into a pause. They fell down 5-0. We saw a similar situation on Dust 2 where CLG was behind 5-1. Well, very early on, just one round further than this into that match. And this time they do have money. And you actually went down and talked to PETA a little bit after map 1. So explain their pause mentality to us a little bit here.
Yeah, so in the beginning of Dust 2, I asked because we talked about how teams should be taking pauses more often than not after, not just after the rifle round, but after the eco to follow the rifle round, right? Because typically you take a pause when you don't have a rifle round coming up next, and when your money is in a terrible place. But PETA said that out of frustration, he called that pause a little bit early. Didn't use the eco round to talk about things because he was so frustrated about the way CLG were playing. And he said that they just needed to get it together and, you know, drop the NA mentality and, you know, flash for each other, stop pushing by themselves. And I think they were getting a little bit too individualistic, maybe tunnel visioned. And that pause was probably just a break, and that's why they took the full 5 minutes, as well as just a reminder to stick to the strategy. And I wonder what the thought process is right now for CLG. This pause from Vexed actually helps them out quite a bit because they have a moment to talk. And
oh wait, was it a Vexed pause?
Yeah, I think it was not a tactical pause.
Oh, this was problem. Okay, so
yeah.
All right, I take that completely back. But at least we got time to get that insight about PETA and CLG and how they take their pauses. And okay, very fortunate for CLG to basically getting a free timeout to talk about things and what they can adjust and what can they adjust. Have you noticed anything?
Well, CLG again, you know, after the quick 5-0, you see one rifle round, right? One force up, which maybe again, like the force up is something you can do or not do. If you have a plan for it, you can win the round. I think they actually were a lot closer than it looked in terms of winning the force up. They also had like really good rotations on their full eco where they went like everyone to B, but then Vex had a good answer for it too. Not the best answer. Best answer would have been go back to A, but the second best answer, which was to go drop and circumvent the situation by going A through drop through the window. So, you know, a lot of good things to say about what CLG have done so far. And, you know, if keeping things in perspective, they've only lost a single rifle round.
Yeah, so right, we haven't seen all that much. It did seem like they were pretty set to play a little bit passive, though, over in B. Like, we haven't really seen them get up on that long platform early on and take any shots through. Maybe now that JDM's picked up the op, he can either make an aggressive peek over at the B platform or move out middle long A, take an aggressive peek for information, and possibly get a first kill.
Oh, there's an adjustment.
Yeah, that's a big adjustment right there. JDM and Tarek both pulling out the op. So I suggested one or the other. They can actually do both of those things now.
It's quite empowering to have an op at A site, and it leaves the person there who's solo a lot more confident, won't have to ask for help that many times. And I think Hayes being here is an answer to the fact that Vex don't like to commit to things right away when they go into a default, and they don't almost never set up for an execute right away either. So with that being said, if they're in a default, last time they caught Tarek off guard, maybe this time, because they'll be able to spot Tarek and maybe have someone run into Hayes in a situation where Vex try to trade out, but feel confident playing 3B with an op there as well.
Yeah, and also, so I mentioned that passive play, not looking out long A, not really looking into long B either. They've also been very passive in the drop room, which on almost every single round has allowed Vex to get 3 people in there and execute to one side or the other. And that's been a bit of a problem. I know playing drop is hard. It's one of the most, I'd call it a gimmicky position on any of the maps, but they have been pretty reluctant to go in that room, and maybe they can change that up if the double ops don't work. But here we go, 40 seconds, Vex Gaming. I don't know if they've actually heard more than one op, if they have the information that it is a double op, but time is getting pretty low. Their execution's going to have to be spot on, and they don't have a lot to execute with. 2 Molotovs, 2 smokes. And flashes on Groovy.
Two players selling the fake aren't actually going to do anything here. Actually, they will. Cutler has rotated
Fugly
a little bit outside of B.
Kind of.
And this is to actually sneak Repo into B to get the AB connector to catch a player, and Furlan finds a kill on A as well. And the entire time they were just trying to isolate JDM to get the bomb down in the opposite site. So suddenly 2 players rendered useless. The original A players that had their positions compromised. And oh, interesting play from Vexed there to get Repo into the AB connector.
Yeah, so CLG starts that round off set up in a 2-1-2. A rifler and an op supported at A. Cutler, the solo man, as he often does, play that role in the site, kind of in that connector and the quicker rotator in this sense. And then same thing at B, an op and a rifler support. But then that A fake really screws everything up because the support was taken off B. JDM is there. He can be flanked from so many angles when you're the opper alone in the back of the B site. It's exactly what happens in Vexed. A 6th round for them.
I think one salient point about the rotations is that that Cutler had a really important position in the sense that they had a 2-3 setup, and while the off goes down from Hayes as well, and they had a 2-3 position, but because they were so I think they just bid on a fake right there because Cutler rotated over to A to assist on a site that typically never has more than 2 people, so they're almost certain it's going to be taken, but then gives up firepower at B, the site that's harder to hold, and would have been in a great position to kill Furlan if he was watching the AB connector or just playing that rotator spot in the by the pillar outside drop.
Yeah, and Vex kind of manipulate them further just because of how low the time was. They're like, surely this is just the main offensive because there's only 30 seconds on the clock. But nope, they get juked. Vex Gaming 6-0 right now. CLG, though, they save some of those weapons at the end of that round. Come into another rifle here in round 7. 2 men have been spotted, and it's going to be tough for the last one to get out. That is JDM there, hitting a 1-op shot, looking for a second, can't get it. Molotov goes down, turns around, beautiful shot out to Furlan, who's falling, excuse me. And Groovy will finally take out JDM, who did a lot this round, but is it going to be enough? Because it still leaves CLG in a 2 versus 3 situation. Now Cutler working around the site, has been spotted. That nade, oh, actually going to switch out to the incendiary there. Or that's all he had, excuse me. And that'll allow them to jump off, and they're going to counter boost up onto the rectangle. Will CLG be able to adapt to that? It doesn't look like an Oscars. Takes out Cutler, actually finds Tarek as well. Double kill for him, both headshots. Vex Gaming 7-0, and it has been the talk recently how hard the CT side is and the lackluster cover inside of the B site, but CLG unable to get anything done thus far.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on this map, but I mean, you know, CLG have very few outs at this point. You know, they've lost a series of rifle rounds. They've had 2 ops in their setups and are down 7-0 versus a team that's, I think, on paper worse than them by a significant margin. And yeah, no, they have more trouble ahead. They've got another eco round to deal with here. Will numerically lose the half for whatever that's worth. In terms of how sided this map is, it's hard to say. I think it really depends on what your team prefers.
Well, one North American team that has already qualified for the major, back when they were at the minors, which they failed to win, they did show us how to play the CT side of Cobble. And that was when Davey picked up the Mag 7 and played a broken wall, and Optic Gaming just could not deal. Yeah. Vex Gaming, they might be able to deal with that.
Solo B Mag 7 4A.
Yes, Solo B Mag 7 4A, and it was actually working. Because why not?
Why not? Now, I don't know. Oh, man. And the economic position they'll be in the following round, I feel like the 2-op setup is like a great way to guarantee a round, but I think they have to be more confident in the 2-3 and not rotate for almost anything. You know, if Tarek got that 1 pick, to his defense, he did get shoulder peeked on that player along. Maybe the round changes completely. And Vex have also been doing a good job of getting the first kills in a lot of these rounds. But, wow, look how much money they have, too. Just distracted me there. But yeah, CLG are going to have 1 off this time, and suddenly, you know, are going to feel a little bit less confident, which is really bad. They're going to feel a little bit less confident than when they had 2 offs, but then also, on top of that, don't have a round to show for themselves so far in this half.
So single op here for JDM. Still no one's got aggressive out onto that B platform yet. Fugly playing around the broken wall, and passive again at drop. So really, I'm not noticing any adjustments thus far for CLG on their setup. Okay,
well,
never mind. Hazed and Cutler are inside of drop room. It was hard for me to tell by looking at the radar. So
that and they didn't play 3-2, except for the round that they had 2 ops. So this time deciding to just like play 2-3, but having 2 rifles support each other at A.
All right, so Fugly down behind the wall. He's giving it up a little bit. And Repo, oh no. Stream heard that.
Yeah.
The desk has been punched. It wasn't the desk's fault, as it's 4-4 now, but Furlan and Oskarish bringing it right back. Hazed in the sight now. He's got it to a good spot. 4-on-3. Vex Gaming still with an advantage even after Repo didn't have a very convincing spray down. Hazed and Cutler left to do the job. They're both here, and Oskarish goes into the site alone. Hazed is able to kill him. Cutler finds Furlan. Now maybe there's a chance. Cutler 1 versus 2 going up on top of the site box, spotted by Grubby, who is coming around the van. Molotov going to go in. That forces Cutler to move, and they give him a double peek. Tech 9 to the forehead. That'll do it. Vex Gaming 9-0.
Wow, hey, I mean, still just have to tighten up here. They had a golden opportunity with that kill on Repo, where he missed a huge spray, but then Tier got killed through the smoke. That was a pretty random shot. That's going to be kind of hard to get over. And here is a timeout. I mean, yeah, this is definitely not too early in the half to call a timeout, I'm sure. I think everyone half expected them to. And you know, a failure to trade is one thing. Vex getting away with a lot of, I mean, capitalizing on a lot of opportunities, and I think CLG just doing the opposite, really, having having chances to win.
Someone call PETA, not the coach of CLG,
no,
but the organization.
CLG, yeah.
All right, well, speaking of him, you can see him there giving some instructions over to his players and what they can do to try to find a round. And actually, from what I've noticed, I did watch some demos for CLG coming into this event, and Cobble's a map I focused on because it was obvious that it's a map they do like. They've changed it up. Cutler was usually like the really solo player just at the connector door spotting A at very, very heavy bead defenses. But now it's like completely switched up there every single time. It seems like they're maybe a little scared to rely on their A retakes because they're putting very heavy presence over at A. B's falling. Really, everything's falling. Nothing's working right now.
Yeah.
I think maybe Cutler and Hayes just need to group together, play the same spot, and find some of that synergy that they had back on Dust 2.
Yeah, no, actually, I was mentioning to PETA as well that the Cutler Hayes dynamic was so good on Dust 2, and he you know, confirmed that he felt that they play so well together and that they not only share the same hotel room but also play all their sites together. You know, sleep in the same room in their gaming house. Like have a lot of great synergy, chemistry, teamwork, friendship, all those great words that describe, I think, what it takes to have a partner in this game on CT side. But yeah, maybe not splitting them up is important, and it just seems like a failure across the board. Though a lot of it honestly has to come down to hitting shots and you know, trading in the first place. It just seems like Vex are getting, you know, Vex get an opening frag, CLG answer back, and then Vex run away with the round over and over and over again.
Yeah, and they've still never gone for anything onto that B platform control. But like, the B platform's really strong, right? Because if you're able to get one CT player up onto the B platform in that bench area, then you can kind of rotate people off. That person's going to be able to either peek out for information and allow you to stay alive a little bit, get the rotates to come over, or just sit there unnoticed as, you know, terrorists trickle out, and then you're in the best spot pretty much to win the round. And just have not seen any of that. JDM's always playing on the site, and again, from what I noticed when I was studying up on their combo, it was Tarek who was to get aggressive out on that B platform, but I don't even think he's playing in the B site.
Yeah, he's not actually getting that aggressive at all. He's kind of playing in the middle of the site somewhere, and I think, yeah, what you mentioned is very, very true. They could also go for long B control, like 20-30 seconds into the round, and like throw a smoke deep at long, because as we mentioned, one of the points or problems with Vex that I've seen so far, and it was more in the earlier rounds. Now they're just, you know, with confidence running through the set they want to take, but earlier we're rocking it back and forth without leaving a player for
nearly
to keep
lost
information.
the pistol round because of it.
Yeah, exactly, and they aren't keeping information on the site that they want to come back to, because it seems like they're going there on a whim. And so if they do make presence at your site, maybe after nothing happens, take control of long or try to counter boost drop, open up the round, and then hold from there. And all of a sudden, you might see Vex just running back at you, because it seems like they make those decisions off of very little info. But as it stands, once they do execute and get into your site, they are really, really good about trading and also keeping up the explosiveness. I think that's like the highlight thing about Vex that we saw on Train on their T side versus SK, and on this map right here on Cobble.
Yeah, Train can be one of the maps where it's the most important thing. If you're going to commit onto a site, you have to commit.
Yeah.
And just charge forward and take that control. Because if you don't control all the nooks and crannies of these sites, people can be there and things can get dangerous. And there's, I think, a similarity that you can draw there at the B site in Cobble. Like, you start hitting B, everyone needs to drop off that platform and hit drop and just completely commit onto the site. Otherwise, you can get in trouble. Still a lot of places to check over there. And I think CLG, like, they don't need to just maybe switch positions and kind of do what they're doing. They need to dramatically change up what they're doing. Like, get aggressive on the platform, go out long A, just run out middle. And I know there's a lot of pressure, but it's got to be a little bit limited since they won map 1.
Yeah.
So you're not facing elimination here. Yes, it would push it to a third map, and then the pressure could mount. But do something crazy, because Vexed Gaming is having no trouble reading you like a book right now.
That's true. They have to change something. I think one thing that's very common as a way to open up a round on CT side of Cobble is to do a counter boosted drop. And because Vex aren't just rushing B every round, like, they don't have to worry about trying to get in a counter boost position and then eating 2 nades while they're boosting and then die and then lose the round immediately. Like, almost every single round after the first 2, we saw Vex slow it down until like the 40-second mark before they hit something. And so that's something that CLG might want to count on, and something that Vex might want to, you know, be cognizant of, and maybe just change it up and hit something fast all of a sudden. Because if CLG want to try to find a new way to open up the round, Vex might be able to have a great opportunity to catch them off guard.
A couple more rounds here for Vexed Gaming. They're in a position where they will never need to save no matter what happens. Groovy's almost at 16K loaded. And here they go extremely fast out into B, thinking, all right, you talked about something. We're coming real quick. Hope you're ready. Fugly and JDM to start it off. Fugly's now falling. Cutler at the rock with the FAMAS. Able to bring down Repo. And things aren't changing here for CLG. Woo. And it looks like maybe they just needed that reset because nothing too different there, but they're hitting their shots. And there were some actually very good counter flashes to slow down Vex. They dropped off through the smoke and off the platform. Very, very blind.
Well, it seems like Vex were having to listen to what we were talking about, and CLG as well. It's like they decided to change up the pace after not doing it for the last 6 or 7 rounds by going back to what worked for them originally, and that was hitting long B. Something that does work would make sense to do right after a pause, where you think that, you know, the other team is just going to get set up and assume that we're going to play slowly or similar to how we've been playing, right? And so we have to change the pattern up. But ultimately, JDM having a really good round, getting 3 kills in the back of the site, and his teammates all contributing. But CLG having an answer to that rush. Actually, the rush has never worked on... the rush has always worked, right, because it was 9-0, but they had never tried it versus CLG with guns. And I think now they might shy away from that strategy, go back to their default and late round executes. And this is kind of like the second beast that CLG have to conquer, because they haven't done that yet.
All right, Tarek looks like he might be getting tested. He's playing on that long side of the danger room. Watching that cross. Flash will go down, forces him to turn, but quickly he's back in position. He's going to be the one to crouch peek out and bring down Furlan. Didn't even take that much damage now. Incendiary down to stop any further pushing or possibility at a trade. And Tarek is actually still quite aggressive. So is Hayes. This could get a little dangerous. They have 5 versus 4. They could fall back and be a bit more passive. Repo able to get across. Up long A. Oh man, Repo, if he pushes through this smoke, he's going to be in a crazy position. Tarek starting to fall back. And he makes noise. Repo is hearing all of this. He knows exactly what's up. Here's that reload as well. Yeah, Tarek, I think I heard him yelling and making that call. I'm not sure. But Repo will take him down. And just like that, it's 4-4. Falling on Hayes now to stop this mid push. That'll go 1 for 1. It's actually the pistol that gets that trade out. And 3 plays 3. Ostrich coming through the window. Cutler will stop that. Again, always trying to work in that drop down into the A split. Repo and Rollin hitting their shots, and now it all falls on to Cutler. Both these guys are already kind of hurt. I think Cutler maybe saw that man cross, so one position may be known. Well, actually, one's definitely known because someone planted the bomb. Whether or not he saw Repo, I'm not sure. Cutler going to continue to make his way forward.
Yeah, Cutler, even if he didn't see him, can be almost certain that he's in that he's under heaven, because there's no way he crossed the site to get the stable. And whoa. Oh, not fully aware of it, but gets a kill on default by just walking up, looks for the spray, doesn't find the headshot, has a 10-second defuse on his hands, and has to bait Repo into think that he's sticking it. And Repo now is very, very certain that he hasn't stuck the bomb because it's taken so much time, and finds the kill. It would have been much too late to get the defuse anyways. And that's Vex to win a round after CLG get the opening frag, which I didn't expect to happen. getting a kill at long, shutting them down in their defaults a little bit, might have changed things, but Vex going back to what works, their bread and butter, taking A late, even 4v5, managed to come out ahead.
Yeah, well, they didn't start taking A until it was really 4-on-4. It's just that Repo was there and he was lurking and he was able to find that kill onto Tarek that evened everything up. And that post plan almost got really awkward. Rallen obviously has to watch that balcony, but it looked like when he was turning around, he started switching weapons, and then he just died for free. Then Repo's not in a position to actually cover the bomb. He was just covering the cross. So some misplays, but Vex Gaming still come out of that round with a victory. And another first kill for CLG. It's Groovy that's fallen, and Cutler with the Mag 7 that dealt the lethal blow.
Now they have CLG have a lot of presence in B right now, but they don't have any way to gather information. They just kind of have to sit and wait and hope they pick the right site. Which is, if we look at the map, we see golden opportunities to get info on the other sides, but it's something that they can't know because they don't see what we see. But that's just one of the things you want to do on ecos is try to take some risks. And here we have Vex clearing out drop, and it looks like they'll be able to have a free reign in it.
And Cutler, we see him with that Mag 7 watching the window of the drop room. He's in a position where he can almost certainly get another frag. Fugly able to get 2, and what do you know? He's up on the B platform controlling. And 2 kills for him, 2 for Cutler, as I think he does kill that other man that came out of the drop room. He was in a fantastic spot where he's certainly getting another kill. CLG Gaming, better late than never, finding 2 rounds.
Wow, a full eco one in CLG's favor after having their economy put in a horrible position. They were able to get 4 pistol kills on a rifle round of Vexes, and it just makes you wonder what is the difference. How come they're able to do that just like that and not on previous rounds? And it might be the fact that Vex have only been able to go B versus ecos, have failed in other opportunities. But at the same time, that was another eco. It was just kind of maybe a little bit more well-funded. Either way, they've won the majority of the rounds at A, and that's something that Vex can't live with. They can't just go A every single round.
It could also just be something like intangible that we can't really see. Just having actually reset on that pause, and now CLG are aiming and hitting their shots better because, fundamentally, in Counter-Strike, you got to aim at people and hit your shots. Because strategically, they haven't done anything all that different, as they try to go for that powerful boost up behind the tree. Cutler unable to get anything done from that position, but JDM on the back of the site will bring down Furlan back to a 4-on-4. The beautiful flash goes out. Fugly playing on the pathway there by the rectangle. He's been spotted, but able to live another day, and JDM continuing to pop over flashes, but Repo takes him out of the round. Vex back with the man advantage, 4-on-3. Hayes and Fugly have taken some damage. Fugly, kill from behind. Groovy coming out of drop, and then he's killed from behind from Tarek. Tarek able to get 2, but then Rallen takes him down. Man advantage still in favor of Vex. 2-on-1. Bomb making its way over to the site now. Hazed has just pushed out of those connector doors, holding out behind Rock. They've crossed. He doesn't know. Now he does. He's actually spotted them both, and they both went for the fight. Now the bomb will go down.
Yeah, in a double peek situation, you can catch someone off guard and give them no ability to trade the kill. But now he's still got 2 1v1s. So that's hard to deal with. And again, with a double peek, it's something I would rather do than hold an angle and wait, as they're doing here. But either way, they get the kill. And that's Vex to clean up another round. This one at B, everybody gets a kill. That's a team ace. Something we like to see. And I think, one thing Vex are doing really good on their B hits, even though most of the time it's not actually that successful, is that they're doing a good job of controlling drop and then delaying long enough, letting their drop guy stay alive so that he can get a flank kill on somebody on the site as they come out long B. And it usually comes out 20, 30 seconds later, and it's hard enough to stay alive in drop once you take it, but him also making himself useful and not simply trying to get clutch kills makes a huge huge difference as well.
All right, Tarek reading the situation. Beautiful flash, gets himself a little bit, but retreating out in full blind. He's able to get a kill on Repo. Another flash goes. That Molotov going to slow him down. Tarek, is that 2 blind kills? Might have been able to see on that second one. 3-on-3 though. Vex Gaming trying to take A by force. Brute force. Rallen. Bullet to the face of Cutler. JDM on the back of the truck, trying to maybe get back into sight. Fugly on a possibly round-winning flank. Evens it right back up, and now JDM kills Groovy. Was up on the site and looking for a fight. Oscarish now 1 versus 2. Does have the bomb though with him and a ton of time on the clock, so we can exploit that. More than likely even find a bomb plan in this round. Well, definitely will if he continues going this fast to B.
I like this play, just running all the way back to the other site. I mean, you can delay and go back to the site that you came from, which is very, very common. And it's simply a mind game. Oscar is just hoping that they aren't going to play 2 1v1s Solo spawning one player in the connector, and that's going to cause a rotation. Bomb's going to go down at the 40-second mark. Oscar-ish to win a 1v2.
No kits once again here for CLG, and I don't think, did anyone even have them? They didn't pick them up on the way over. Both of them coming out of a drop, and that'll work. The double peek. Fugly finds 2 kills on the round.
Yep, and CLG do come away with a round in it. It looked like a bit of a death match coming up in A. Tarek getting 2 kills the first time. I think he's been able to do that as the A player, and that's crucially important playing the site that is less stacked, less armed. So CLG get a 3rd round, but is it just a consolation prize? Because the half that they can get means, you know, that they have still a huge mountain to climb in the second half. 4 rounds maximum, and not even the best of buys here. 1 Mag 7, which may be the best gun of all of them on this map. But they are going up against a halfway buy from Vexed as well. Galil's, Tech 9s, low nades.
And something to note about CLG's rounds, unless they get this one, not a single one was chained together.
Yeah.
All of them in isolation.
Yeah, and actually just to correct myself, I mean, they do actually have 5 smokes, though, and that's the value of buying Tech 9s in the first place. But even still.
Oh, and I swore I saw 3 Galils, but actually Groovy does have an AK. And here comes the play onto the B site. Smokes, Molotovs, some flashes out. Fugly will drop 1, and all right, slowing down Oscarish a little bit, but he's able to retreat back into his smoke to stay alive. Fugly spraying and maybe going to get wrapped on. The smoke wall is down. Will anyone decide to push it from Vex Gaming? No, they won't. Fugly's the one that decides to push. Sees a man up on the platform and low on ammunition. Gets one nearly a second. They've spotted Oscarish out at KFC, but things are getting very, very hard here for CLG. Hazed in a fight for his life. He'll go down. Tarek's been able to get 1 thus far in the retake, now left in a 1v3. Smoke bouncing. He'll turn to look at it. Finds a kill onto Repo. Groovy on the platform. Tarek getting pushed from behind. Hits the 180, but Groovy is there for the 100% victory.
Yep. And yeah, he knows once he pushes that smoke that Tarek can be fully aware of it, but if my teammate's peeking along at the exact same time, there's a very low chance that he'll be able to get both kills, and they do seal up a 12th round. 12-3 half for Vexed on the side you would consider to be what this map is in favor of, but at the same time maybe not so steeply. And yeah, CLG have quite a bit to work on. It seems like their mid-round fell apart quite often. Like, you know, they're going tit for tat, and in terms of strategy, it seemed like it's not that they were getting crushed, but that they were always coming up behind at the end of the rounds. You know, 3v3 situations or 4v3, or just maintaining the man advantage in the first place seemed to be the hardest thing for them. And Vex, you know, credit to them, they really played as a team when it came to actually getting in the site. It seemed like they were most weak in their defaults, but on their executes, when they actually got out and searched for the ability to trade kills, they did it so effectively every time. Made CLG really confused, you could tell.
Yeah, and CLG did have a pretty tough time, right? They lost 10 in a row, excuse me, 9 in a row, and a lot of those rounds were convincing, so Vex had a ton of money. And then when CLG do start winning, they never get consecutive rounds, so they never broke the money. They never earned themselves a free round. It was always a rifle or mix of rifles and Tech 9s, which you really have to respect anyways on Cobble because of the ability to exploit drop and also just have someone fly out, jump off the B platform, people start shooting at them, then the rifles come out. And it was very tough. So always going against a very well-armed Vex Gaming, except for the pistol. And that pistol round did end up being very close. Maybe could have changed things a lot. And we'll have one more of them moving into the second half. It is Cobble. It is a bit T-sided. Probably not 12-3 T-sided, but if CLG get off to a good start for themselves, have some momentum, can maybe... The comeback is still a possibility, but it'll be tough.
Yeah, I think might be wrong about this, but our prophet, Ricky Lumpkin, I think called it a 2-1 for CLG. So
he called it a 2-1, and he even went pretty in-depth saying that CLG would win their map and Vex would win theirs. So on that point, he might be wrong, but of course, the overall prediction 2-1, he could still be right. And it would be weird to actually have each team win. Of course, it happens every now and again, but each team winning the other team's map pick. Looking like a very likely scenario right now.
Yeah, I mean, if CLG win the pistol, I put them right back into this game, honestly. Like on T side, I feel like a lot of the things that they were doing wrong on CD side are looking like they were lacking in could be fixed here. But oh, Furlan opening up with a really nice USP headshot, and Fugly answering back with a Glock kill of his own,
that
making
range
Furlan
too.
wish he just fell off.
Yeah, Furlan, you just got that man advantage. He was feeling confident in his aim, missed one shot, then Fugly was able to capitalize. So that evened it right back up 4-on-4. Smoke and Flash still on Fugly, as they're going to be congregating here at the far side of B long. And who is that out middle? That's Tarek watching for any pushes. So he's lurking out there in T middle.
Yep, just holding rotations, giving them somewhere to go if it's not B. That is his team. And it looks like the bomb is making its way back over to A, where they will be met by a pretty stacked setup. I mean, Repo's position is one where you're almost guaranteed a kill, especially if there's someone in the connector to take attention away from you. And Rowland, while shutting down the long B aggression, suddenly regaining the man advantage for his team. And there it is. Attention, watch. Hayes actually does go for the clear, but doesn't find the frag. And Repo, in good position to get a second kill, can smoke off the bomb here, 2v4. Fugly pushes through the smoke, doesn't get the kill. Tarek finds one just on top of him, and can't turn that into another frag. And Vex sealed up a super important pistol round, making it 13-3. Really nice setups, really nice shots being hit all sides of the map. Rowland shutting down the lurk on B.
Yeah, Furlan's first shot was pretty nuts. I'm actually really surprised he didn't even get the second kill, because to me it looked spot on, but I guess at that range a little off to the left. And then Rowland, very, very quick reactions to shoot down. I think it was Cutler that was trying to work off the B platform and sell that fake. And then the 5-7 being close against the wall. And Hayes was kind of getting baited up, right? Spotted one at the connector doors. Even does check it, but I think he checks it expecting not to see anyone there. Either way, tough position for them. Now Vexed Gaming just mowing everybody down over here. JDM trying to drop off, get close with the Tech 9, but even still, he can't get the kill. Cutler's been spotted now at the connector door going into B. Nade to go out. Damage there, and Repo from behind with the M4A4. 14-3. CLG not able to seize any momentum at the start of the second half, and Vex Gaming with all of it might just be able to close this out.
Not looking super sharp, man. Not looking like they're playing their best Counter-Strike right now. And again, you know, sometimes it does come down to their setups, positioning, and intangibles like communication, but then also just trading frags and getting kills, opening up rounds, and that's something that they've failed to do round after round, on top of maybe some of the other things that we've talked about. But yeah, now it seems like they've baited out a force from CLG. Well, some players not spending all their money, that is Fugly and Cutler, to just buy Deagles, no half armor. Oh, but I think they combined resources to put a Galil in the hands of Hazed and Tarek.
Yeah, so I like that. I mean, it's a Galil and not an AK, but I don't know, you get a little bit of an advantage at range, I suppose. Having two rifles, and then of course the Deagle, they're going to be the best pistol at range. Rip the R8.
I don't miss it.
I do. But only because of matchmaking, as it's 14-3. Vex Gaming with every advantage right now. And look at this rotation over to A, actually. They have 4 people here, and it may be the right call. CLG hasn't quite decided yet with the bomb, but it starts to head back up into the Dragon Room and perhaps through the museum to B. And okay, Tarek starts off the round with a kill on to Oscarish. And Fugly lurking with that Deagle over at the end of long A. Furlan's going to bring down Tarek. Hazed is on that trade. Now Groovy at Rock with the FAMAS, able to get 2 quick kills. I think those might have been the boys without armor. And now it's up to JDM with armor, Deagle, and Galil. What can he do? 1 versus 3. 30 seconds to work with, but look how controlled that bomb is. Vex Gaming know that it's down. And all right, JDM finds a nice shot onto Groovy through the doors. Pulls out the Deagle. Ooh, that could have made things very, very interesting if that one landed. Now 15 seconds, going to throw in the Incendiary. That should push them back, but no, they just push forward instead. Repo gets the kill. Vex Gaming at match point. They'll have 12 of them.
That spray transfer from Groovy was super nice. I mean, he hit like all 8 of his first bullets there, and shut down CLG. I mean, that's a situation where it's like, okay, how do you trade that? So that was super sick from him. One of the first nice frags that we've seen so far this game. Rowland ensuring that they take this map right here, has bought the auto sniper. No shame in his game.
All right, Repo. We've actually seen a couple situations where Repo has gone for spray downs and utterly embarrassed himself. There's another one right there, and it may actually matter because look at CLG. JDM's picked up a Scar 20, and that's what the worst thing you could do is buy a Scar 20 and then have it handed over to the other team. Hayes, JDM, and Cutler are now feeling inspired. 3 versus 2. It'll be a long road back, but it could start here in round 19.
The issue for them right now is no armor.
Yeah, Cutler has it, but even though he does, he's low, and now he's dead. Oskarish moved up onto the site. JDM, yeah, that's unfortunate. He's going to go down. Had that Scar 20, but no armor. And Hayes can't get the spray, and that's going to be the game. A close one on Dust 2, but Vex just absolutely demolishing CLG here on Cobble.
Yeah, and again, a lot of, just to recap, it was a very one-sided game. Not so exciting for CLG. No comeback was staged in that situation. We had 3 rounds, 1 on an island. No, apparent, I guess, merits to their play, but the site hole or the executions were great. And unfortunately for CLG, they weren't able to exploit some of the weaknesses that we could see up here from the caster desk, and that's unfortunate for them. But they will move into the third map. That's Train, which is a map I think they should be worried about playing Vexed on. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's going to be tough. Also, Vexed. It's not like that was close. It was a dominant performance. So Vex is going to have the momentum going into that third map, a map that we know they are quite capable on. And with that, guys, we're going to throw it down to the desk. We'll see you for map 3.
Thanks a lot for that, guys. Now, obviously, I've spent a lot of time in the scene as an investigative journalist. I just want to say anyone who would accept gifts in exchange for positive praise is an absolute scumbag. That said...
Congratulations, of course, to Team Liquid.
Yes, yeah. Congratulations, Team Liquid, and how CLG could have used a Hiko in that game. They just didn't have anything. They weren't at the races at all, unlike Team Liquid yesterday.
Bet they...
Should have kept it simple. Now they'll be crying about how bad the opponent was. Anyway.
I mean, they're really regretting that they don't play Mirage.
I was going to say, that decision to not pick Mirage and to go for Cobblestone seems absolute madness within the context of what happened on that map.
The funny part about it is all last year they were picking Mirage against like Fnatic like 3 or 4 times, other top European teams, and everyone's like, why do you guys keep picking Mirage? This is a poor decision, and now when it makes sense to actually pick it, they go for something else.
Counter logic game.
In a nutshell. No, but I mean, on a serious note, I mean, they just didn't look comfortable on the map at all. They didn't seem to have a lot going forward in terms of the terrorist side. They didn't seem to have a lot going on with the CT side. They seemed really...
Same those in a third side.
Yeah, I know. If only there was some sort of in-between, like, the agnostic kind of side. It just seemed to be really bizarre that they've chosen this map, because I didn't see anything that even made me believe that they've practiced it a great deal.
Well, Thorm brought up the point that JDM always has a huge impact on that B bomb site with ZWP. Still quiet, still silent. I don't know where he's been.
Well, they never got their economy rolling. I mean, barely had an AWP at all again in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he had it a couple times and it just was lackluster. They took it over, and then once that happens and they start get to the stage where they're down like 9-1, 10-1, and it's like we have to buy, we have to get more rounds. We can't afford to save for his AWP.
And that is usually where he's good, is CT side. Like, one of the great things about them on this map is that's the hard site to hold, but he always has highlight rounds there. 2 or 3 kills and stops a rush dead. And yeah, he never could do that, and he was never even in position to do that.
Right.
And so as a result, they got completely rolled over in the first half, and there wasn't even a space where you thought, right, well, they can get back into this game still could be. You were just thinking, right, map 3. It's already going to be a map 3.
And props to Vex, because we've talked about another analyst. I know in a couple of your videos you brought it up. The best way to counter CLG right now is to keep the economy low, because JDM, when he gets on the rifles, he is much less fearsome to go against.
Yeah, now for Vexed, got to say, obviously, lots of positives there. I mean, they really looked like a completely different team to what happened on Dust 2. I mean, they were relatively solid on Dust 2. They made a fight of it. CLD were poor, but they did just enough to win. Vex looked great on that map, and this is what I said going in. The Polish guys have played this map before, and they do have the capability to upset teams on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious, and yeah, I mean, you saw the skill come out of some of their players. There were a couple sketchy rounds, but I mean, they just blew CLG out of the water. It was incredible that they were never actually in that game. There was never a single point that made you say, this is why they pick, like you said, there's no confidence-inspiring play on that. I mean, now, they didn't get to play their T side at all, but when you get bodied like that on your CT, that's what happens.
You don't get to, yeah. Anyone jump out about Vex for you?
I actually, what's weird is the whole team was pretty decent, actually. I mean, it wasn't like it was just one guy carrying, like we saw on the first day. Like, Grubby was particularly good. Furlan had been very good. A bunch of the players, in fact, that's the shocker for me, is that I look at the 2 rosters and it doesn't make sense that there can be this firepower on Vexed. I mean, actually, I always used to think on Vexed, Hyper was like a huge part of their firepower. Yeah. They lost him. They didn't even bring in someone who I consider to be particularly like a skilled player or whatever. He's doing fine. The whole team's doing fine. And now you're going into a third map where I don't really believe in momentum. I don't really buy that logic. Yeah. Like, to me, CLG wrecked you on your map. You've wrecked them on CLG's map. It's really how good are you on the third map. Forget about any of the momentum stuff. So Question is, on this third map, is CLG finally going to get it together? Because at the moment, aside from map 1 of this tournament, of this series rather, they've struggled to even have solid maps in this tournament.
Yeah.
They've been essentially in this dormant state the majority of the time, and even in that game on Cash yesterday, they still fell asleep in the second half and still were in trouble at that point in time. So with the way it's going right now, sure, Vexed hasn't looked great. They haven't looked like a team, if they get to the major, will do any damage, but they've had much better games over the tournament. So even though my prediction was CLG, it's kind of looking at the moment like Vexed is going to be able to win.
Well, we shall wait and see. Thanks for your thoughts, gentlemen. Obviously, we're going to be back after the break. It's going to be 5 minutes. Make sure you join us for the deciding map.
Homies.
Join us on April 1st through the 3rd at the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Watch the best teams in Counter-Strike Global Offensive go head-to-head for a guaranteed prize pool of $1 million.
He could be able to get this. Got the ace clutch! Shazam!
Teams like Fnatic, Envious, Virtus Pro, and many more will be there. VIP is sold out, so make sure to get your general admission tickets now. Buy your tickets now at mlg.tv/csmajor.